Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new episode of It's Our House Pod with Faz and Dees. I'm Faz and there's Dees. How you doing, bud?
Yeah, mate, I am great. I'm really excited for this. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yes, it's a very, very good one. But before we proceed, we just want to give a big shout out to our sponsor. It's wrestlingpins.bigcartel.com. That's wrestlingpins.bigcartel.com. They have pins like The Ultimate Warrior, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan's a new one, The Undertaker, and much more. Just head on over and put the promo code IOHPOD15 for 15% off your order. That's IOHPOD15 for 15% off your order. And also head over to PWT's, it's Our House Pod, and we've got our merch there. As you can see, Mr. D's is showing off our brand new t-shirt. So yeah, head on over. And every purchase you make really helps us out as creators. So thank you very much. But today, we're mixing it up. We're doing something a little bit different, but we're really excited about this. We have a fantastic guest. She's a cosplayer. She's a model. She's been on Channel 4's First Dates, and she's just a brilliant all-around person. Hannah Indigo, welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me. It's so nice to be here.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. We really appreciate you taking your time out. Now, what we will say is the questions and stuff we've set up this week, you've seen them, but we're being a little bit more different with how we're doing it. Usually it's just strictly wrestling questions, but we wanted to try a new format out just for you. So what we're going to start is an icebreaker because
you're a guinea pig.
Yes, you're a guinea pig for this. But
I love being a guinea pig. Don't you worry.
We want to start off with an icebreaker basically for every one of our guests, just so they can have a curveball thrown at them and come up with something different. So if a movie was made of your life, what genre would it be and who would play you?
I've been thinking really hard about this one. I love films. I'm a big film buff. And my first instinct was horror. And I was like, no, Hannah, that's just your favorite genre of film. But I think if I was being realistic, I'd go with like an indie drama comedy like Lady Bird. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah,
okay. Interesting.
Yeah, it's a great film. And I definitely go like coming of age film. And I'd love to go with somebody like Florence Pugh or Elizabeth Olsen.
Yes, Florence Pugh. Yeah. I like that one. That's a very good one. She's going out with Zach Braff.
Yeah, I love Florence Pugh.
I didn't know that. From Scrubs.
No.
Yeah, from Scrubs.
From Scrubs.
Did not know that.
Yeah,
wow. Yeah. No, not at all. No, I loved her in Midsummer.
Yeah, very good movie.
Oh yeah.
Not a couple. No, wouldn't have imagined that, but.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird couple in it. But yeah, I listened to the Scrubs podcast and she came on it last week and I was like, wow, okay. Didn't see that coming.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
that's an odd one. My flatmates are obsessed with Scrubs, so.
Oh yes, tell them. Yeah, can we have them on? Can we have them on?
It was so bad. It was so bad at the end, though, wasn't it? Like the last one or two.
I'll get them in.
Were awful. They were awful.
Season 9 was woeful.
I thought it was all awful.
No, don't do
Sorry.
that, Hannah. You broke my heart. How very dare you?
No. The first like 6 or 7 series are perfect.
I'm sorry, you can kick me off now.
Silly.
Never.
Shortest podcast ever.
So go on, Chris. You want to start?
I was just going to say I think my film would be a comedy of errors. Really, it'd definitely have to be a comedy. I don't know who would play me. Who would be unfortunate enough to play me? I like to think like a Chris Pratt or somebody a lot more handsome than me.
I was going to say, yeah. Is that who you think you're putting yourself in the same category?
I don't think many people would want to see my film. It'd be just me sitting in my pants arguing with people on Twitter. Not very exciting. Right, yeah. So let's get into it. Obviously, we've had a bit of a chat in the past, you and myself, Hannah. I know how big into cosplay you are. Cosplay is pretty much what you've been known for. You've built a really, really good, really loyal Instagram following of like around 12,000 from your cosplay work. So what was it that got you into cosplay in the first place? What was it that inspired you to do it? And I guess coming off of that as well, have you missed cosplaying in 2020? What with everything going on with the world?
Yeah, well, okay, I'll take your first part of the question first. So I originally got into cosplay because I'm a special effects makeup artist.
Nice.
And I started playing around with stuff at home, and I thought to myself, how can I get my work out there? How can I get it to be seen? And I thought, okay, what's popular at the minute? And it was very much around the time of like Suicide Squad coming out, although we were all very excited for it. And like I said, I've got like a big like movie background as well. I work in the cinema industry, so I've always loved films. And I thought I'm going to start recreating looks from films. So I started doing things like, obviously did Harley and the Joker.
Obviously, who hasn't?
Did Leo from Remnant? Have you seen it? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
What else I do? Did stuff from The Exorcist, and I just started playing around with that. And I, oddly enough, got back in contact with a girl I went to high school with called Olivia, and I said to her, do you fancy going to Comic-Con? It's in Birmingham, which wasn't far from where I was living at the time. So we decided to go, and we went in some very basic cosplays. I went as the Joker, which I've never done again. And Olivia went as Harley Quinn. She looked fantastic. I looked like I'd been dragged through a hedge backwards. If you scroll back far enough on my Instagram, you'll find the pictures if I haven't archived them already. My makeup was great, but I looked horrendous. Anyway, so went to Birmingham Comic Con. It was an MCM Comic Con, which like really the only ones I go to. And we were like wandering around the halls. We saw other cosplayers. Like people wanted to take our photos. Like people wanted to do like videos of our cosplays. And I was just hooked instantly. Like just to see that much creativity in a room, to me was just like overwhelming. And to have that many people that were openly into like the same stuff that I was into, seeing things like video games that I've been playing in my bedroom on my own. I sound so sad.
That's our day to day.
Seeing that sort of thing and seeing all the merchandise, I was like, it's all I'm doing at the minute in lockdown, just playing Overwatch every single day.
Yes.
I thought to myself, I was like, I'm where I should be. And I suddenly felt like, I don't want to say at home sounds a bit cheesy, but I suddenly felt really comfortable in myself in a room full of people I didn't know.
Yeah.
Which is something I've, never really have done. And I came home from it and I had the buzz, and I already knew like what the next costume was I wanted to do. We kind of dragged like one of our other friends into it. And we just started and we made friends, and, it was just an incredible experience. And if you ever get the chance to go to London Comic Con, it's a 3-day event, but it's incredible. Like it's just so overwhelming to every single sense you have. Like it's amazing. That's kind of how I got into it and kind of how I got stuck in it, I guess. I took a break a couple of years back, actually, just because it's so expensive. Yeah. Like cosplaying is just incredibly expensive, and people are always expecting you to do a new costume every single time you go to a con, and they can be 3-day events. You need 3 costumes, and a costume itself can cost anywhere. If you're doing a cheap one, could be like 200 quid to like the most one of mine's probably cost is like £600, and I couldn't afford to be doing that like all the time. So after First Dates aired, I actually took a break from it for a couple of years. I haven't been to a con in about 2-3 years now. And I never thought I'd wanted to go back. I was like, I'm done. I've had my time there. Like, I've loved every second of it, but I'm absolutely done with it now. But I've kind of got the itch again.
Yes.
And I have said on Instagram that I'm going to be going back to cons next year. And I can't wait. I'm kind of anxious now, and this is going to sound pathetic. Now I'm that little bit older. How the hell I'm going to last on my feet all day for a con? Like, I'm not going to have the stamina for it, like, at all. I'm excited to get back and like see my friends and see like who's still in the scene, and just go and have fun now, because I think I put so much pressure on like doing new costumes, and I think a lot of cosplayers do. They put so much pressure on themselves to constantly be better, and I think so much, and that actually is how I got more into like wrestling cosplays, because they're just so comfortable. You can just wear shorts all day, and Whereas like someone like Poison Ivy, she comes with like 6-inch heels. Can you imagine walking around in those all day in a corset? Yeah,
Well, no,
it's not the one.
no, yeah,
So,
I've
No,
never thought
can't really.
about that. I don't
Funnily
think.
enough.
no. So
Are there any
yeah.
when you get back into it, is there anybody in particular that you want to create a costume for? Is there any one that you've been sort of like waiting to do, any that you were going to do before you took a break?
Well, yeah, I had a few. They definitely weren't started, but they were thoughts for sure. I have a few costumes I haven't worn as well. Like I've got a few like Orange is the New Black. I'm gonna do Alex from that. That's currently sitting in my drawer that I'm staring at right now. I've got the dress from La La Land as well, which is another one I was gonna do. But in terms of like big cosplays, I was really looking forward to like doing and building. I wanted to do Becky Lynch. That was gonna be my next like big one. Because you know, I think with cosplays you have to choose something iconic. I think the character has to be instantly recognizable.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it today actually. I was like, who would I, cosplay again if I was to cosplay? And Becky's instantly iconic, isn't she? Like red hair, you know who she is. And I was actually thinking about a female Undertaker. I think could be a really good costume.
That'd be really a good one.
Different.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I also think like maybe Bliss, like Bliss now. You know, the Fiend Bliss.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah.
I'd like that one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think that's again why wrestlers are not easy to cosplay, but they've all got such iconic looks. That's the whole point behind them. That you can do it very much on a budget, and people know who you are.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, because very few of them are really like elaborate, big, massive costumes. And like you say, a lot of them are pretty much just wearing not day-to-day clothes, but maybe like edited clothes and clothes that you can just alter to be a little bit different. I remember seeing on your Instagram in the last few days. Didn't you say that you'd like to do Diva from Overwatch? You were interested in Diva, but going like all out, doing something massive for Diva.
Yeah, so I've done Diva in a few different ways. So I've done just classic Diva in a suit, and then I don't know if you saw one Halloween, they did a spray, and it was Diva as a child, and she built her mech out of a cardboard box, and she put it on, and that was her as a kid dressing up for Halloween. And I built that one year. Yeah. So I built that. It took me weeks, much to my parents' dismay. I took over the whole dining room table, cardboard, paint, everything, and I built that, and I'd never been happier in a costume in my life, just literally wearing a cardboard box over my head. But trying to get it to London on the train was a nightmare. I had to like flat pack everything, and I had to build it so it was like easy to travel with. And it recently got destroyed. I recently put it in the bin, so that's very sad.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was back at my parents' house, and with all my pops and all my like comic book collection and stuff, and my parents were like, Hannah, you really need to like come and sort all of this out. So we put most of it into storage, but I just felt like Diva had to go. She'd had her time. Yeah, so very sad, but if money and my skills weren't an object, I'd love to build her mech like completely.
Fantastic. That'd be amazing.
So I've seen it done. I have seen it done at a con before. But yeah, it would be incredible. I was talking to my friend Matt actually about dream cosplays, and he said Reinhardt. He'd love to be able to do a Reinhardt cosplay.
Absolutely. God, that would cost you a fortune.
Oh my god, it absolutely would.
You'd need to be a tank yourself just to carry that around. Just,
my god, yeah. I think that's what people forget as well, is that the costumes are so heavy, especially when you start building armor. We do make most of it ourselves, but just wearing it all day at a con is just exhausting. Absolutely exhausting.
Absolutely.
I bet it is. You mentioned before then, obviously, about first dates, and obviously you're known for your cosplay, but a lot of our UK viewers might recognise you from first dates as well. So first off, what was it like appearing on the show, and are you still in touch with Lego designer Dan?
I still talk to Dan. We still chat. He's such a lovely guy. He still works for Lego, still a Lego designer, still living the dream.
He is living the dream.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's actually moved. I think he's living, I want to say Sweden area.
Oh,
Yeah, so he got promotion in his job and he's loving his life. But yeah, we never actually saw each other after the show, and that was the big question that people wanted to know was, did we see each other? And unfortunately we didn't. We just lived too far away from each other. So it just never happened. But the show itself was just such an incredible experience, and the team at Channel 4 that work on First Dates are some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. Like, you get assigned a producer from the very start of the process right through to the actual day you record the show. And the guy I can't remember his name for the life of me, but he was so nice. I want to say Ben, maybe is his name. I can't remember, but he was lovely. And it was incredible. It was something I'd never done before. I'll probably never get the chance to do it again. But I loved every second of it. Very surreal. And when you have to film things twice as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, is any of it like fake? I mean, obviously it's...
So the entire date is genuine. Right. And all they say to you is figure out why we put you together. And that's it. You just start the conversation. Okay. And I guess you just start talking about things you've got in common. And in that sense, none of that was scripted. We weren't told what to say. There was nobody coming over to us and saying, oh, talk about this, talk about that. Yeah. It just, the conversation just flowed. In terms of things having to be filmed twice, when you walk into the restaurant and you say hi to Fred.
Yeah.
Well, I was the first one to walk in, and he was like, right, go. I've had the radio, go, walk. And again, I was wearing bloody 6-inch heels, this tiny little dress. It was so uncomfortable. Walked in, stood there, no Fred. I was like, who, Fred, do you want to come sit me down? No? Anyway, Fred came over all sort of like bamboozled, and he was like, I wasn't ready for you. Go back. So I was like, right, okay. Went back outside the restaurant. There's like a normal restaurant next door. People sat outside just watching me walk backwards and forwards as well. So yeah, no, I had to shoot that twice. But other than that, the whole thing was just completely natural. We just sat there talking. It felt, like I said, very surreal. And I don't remember a lot of the date because it went so quickly.
Yeah.
But the entire process of the evening, I think I had to be on set for like maybe 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And I didn't get out till midnight after doing like the final interviews and things. And then at the end of the night, after you've done your final interview and, do you want to see each other again and all that magic, they say to you, they're like, right, we'll get you a taxi back to your hotel, or do you want to go for drinks? And we were just like, well, I guess we'll go for a drink. So neither of us are from London. Got into a taxi, dropped us off in Covent Garden outside this, told us was a bar, definitely a club. Went downstairs, it was pitch black. The music was saying, like, couldn't hear a word at all. So yeah, I got out of that day and I was like, I still don't know if I like him or not, to my hotel and continue with Comic-Con.
Yeah. What was the food like? Was it good?
I had what they called the dirty burger, and it was great. It was so good. But you try and eat a burger this size on national TV yeah, and look good while doing it. I dissected it and I was like, oh, I'm going to eat this with a knife and fork. Of course I am.
No, was you were there till 12 o'clock?
Oh, it was just, I don't know why I ordered it. I mean, the menu itself was like quite basic. It was like fish and chips, bangers and mash, but like posh basic food. So I thought I'll go for a burger, fine. Got a side of broccoli because apparently me and Dan both love broccoli. And then dessert, they just gave us a cocktail. I remember my date was diabetic.
God. And
they were like, what do you want for dessert? I didn't even think. I was like, I want the chocolate indulgent and we'll share it. And he looked at me and was like,
no. I will die.
No, of course we will. Yeah, so I nearly killed my date. Nearly did. Yeah, and then Merlin gave me a cocktail as well, and I was jolly, let's say. Yeah.
Was it like a real restaurant, real pub kind of thing?
Yeah, it's a real restaurant. So I think like just when they're not filming, you can just go to it as a normal restaurant. But they've moved it to Manchester now, and again they're using like another normal restaurant up here. So yeah.
Fair enough. Right, I want to come back around to this. Obviously, we're primarily a wrestling podcast. Since day one, we've had people on talking to them about wrestling. So let's get into that a little bit. How and when did you get into wrestling? Was it just always, did you just get into it at a young age and just never fell out of love of it? Much the same as me and Faz here. What were your first memories as a kid?
So I remember I was probably, let's say seven-ish. My godparents and my parents were really, really close. We probably went to their house maybe like every Saturday night, and they had a son who was the same age as me, and he was really into his wrestling. So we had all the figures, he had all the video games, and I didn't really watch wrestling with him, but I did play the video games on the PlayStation.
Nice.
And it was, for me, I remember it being the first video game you could actually make and customize a female character, which you couldn't do on most games until very recently. Like, I remember with Tony Hawk, there was like one game on there you could actually be like a woman in the story mode. But with wrestling, it happened when I was so young. So I used to just sit there and just make wrestlers because it was the only game I could do. And I remember I used to always beg Dan. I went over, he's like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to play the wrestling games. He's like, you're obsessed with them. I was like, I just want to make a woman. I just want to make a female wrestler. That was my first like real like memory of them. And I'd take my Barbies over and we'd play with his wrestling figures and my Barbies, and that's my real like first memory of wrestling. I would have seen it on the telly, and I would have seen Dan jumping off the sofa trying to do a moonsault or something and not really knowing what was going on. And I knew all the big names, you know. And it wasn't until about 3 years ago, the flatmate I live with now, Sam, he is really into wrestling, and he was like, let's show you a rumble, because that's the easiest way to get people into wrestling that have never watched it before. And he was right, I was hooked. I remember we were sat in his room, TV on the floor, and I was just instantly hooked with the characters, the colours, the way the crowd went like crazy for everything, the storylines. I was instantly hooked. And I started going to some indie shows in the UK. Somebody I work with, Jack, invited me to a show in Wolverhampton, Fight Club Pro. And I went, and it was wild, like absolutely wild. I'd never seen wrestling like it. And I do think the British wrestling like indie scene is very, very different to what you see on the telly, but in a very, very good way. I really enjoyed the storylines through that as well. So yeah, that's kind of how I got back into it. And I just became like just frequently on the indie wrestling scene, and keeping up with WWE in the background. And then Evolution happened. And I've never cried so much at a telly in my life. It was just, you know, even just thinking about it now, that actually wrestling was one of the first things when I was a kid that gave women control over something. You know, we could create something as simple as a video game character, but nobody else had done it. Like, nobody else at that time was doing it. To then, you know, I think when Evolution came out, I was about 25, I think. To then watch that and see, really for the first time in sports, women being given their own like pay-per-view shot, and you know, I think a lot of the female wrestlers, especially in WWE, are so inspiring to me. So it's kind of been a journey of, I don't know, just kind of seeing it as a little kid, and then actually realizing how important it has been to me, and how important some of the characters are to me as well.
Yeah, it's you said that obviously, you know, you got back into it about 3 years ago. I mean, what a time to come back into it, if you think about it. You know, that's when the women's revolution was really at its peak. And one of the great things about everything you've mentioned, from, you know, playing with your wrestlers as a kid to cosplaying, and it's always been about creation and powerful women. That have been the thought process behind it. So you know, you've mixed, as we said, you've mixed the wrestling and the cosplay together. But why pick people like Natalya and Alexa Bliss and Nikki Bella? Is it just because they're quite simple to pick from, or is it because these women are larger than life?
I'll start with Alexa. So Alexa was simply, I knew she'd be a really easy character to create and be instantly recognizable. I think she's fun as well. Like, character's always been fun. She always looks fantastic. And she's an amazing athlete. So that was as simple as that one was for me.
Yeah.
Now, when it came to Nikki, should I tell you that I cried the night she lost to Ronda? I went to bed in a strop.
Please cry.
Yeah. So I don't know why I was expecting her to win. I mean, I'm delusional when it comes to like any part of wrestling. Like, anytime Natalya has a title match, I'm like, she's going to win it. Of course she's going to win it. And I'm always set her to be disappointed. But Nikki, for me, I think because my flatmate was going back and showing me so much like of the older wrestling, like he's really into his wrestling from like around the 2000s. And I don't like to go any later than that. My rule is, if the wrestling's blurry, I don't want to watch it. Like, I like HD wrestling. Simple as that. So anyway, I think I was going back and watching a lot of like the Bella Twins, and really watching them grow throughout WWE. And I was watching a lot of Total Bellas as well, which is a great show.
Casey
and I
makes me
just
watch
fell in
that.
love with Nikki.
It genuinely is. I love Total Divas. I'm happy to admit it. Great show.
It's an amazing show. Yeah, amazing show. Like, I remember like last summer, my boyfriend at the time, he'd be like, do you want to watch Total Bellas? I was like, yes, I want to watch Total Bellas. But yeah, there was something about Nikki I just loved, because she was so feminine and absolutely stunning and beautiful, but she's so strong. I don't want to use the word fearless, but she's fearless. You know, she's just, she was incredible. And I really looked up to her. And I still do. I do feel like she's kind of gone a little bit quieter, obviously, with having the baby, which I'm so happy about. And, you know, her being engaged and taking a step back from the limelight. And I'm so happy she's found everything that, you know, she's been looking for, and she's doing the podcasts and things. And I love it. I'm so happy for her. But Natalya is a different kettle of fish entirely for me. I enjoyed her. I watched her wrestle and I enjoyed it. And it wasn't until I really started following her and really started interacting with her that I came to realize what an incredible woman she is. There's nobody I look up to more than her. I feel like an absolute nerd saying this while I'm sat here in her jacket. Yeah, there's honestly, in any walk of life, whether it, you know, be just sort of general celebrities, actors, anything like that, there's not, you know, a woman I look up to more than Natalya. I think she's worked her absolute arse over the years, and she's so kind, like so incredibly kind, and she's so genuine as well. So genuine. So I've never really cosplayed Natalya fully, but I've obviously always had her merch whenever they've given it to us, which isn't very often. But I've always got her merch, and I'd love to do a cosplay of Natalya, but her costumes are probably one of the most like intricate.
Yeah.
And they would be the most expensive. The amount of bloody sparkle she puts on them is absolutely mental. So I'd love to actually like fully cosplay her one day, but it would just be a very, very expensive, difficult one to do.
Yeah. Is there anyone else you want to cosplay as?
As I said, Becky's definitely up there for sure. She was already in my plans to do. And then I think I just started looking at male wrestlers that I'd like to sort of do a twist on. Yeah, like Undertaker. I love AJ as well. I think AJ could be a fun, easy one to do. Yeah, Kane, I think he could be a really
female Kane would be cool.
Female Kane would be good. Yeah.
I
don't do a makeup either. Just wear a mask. Yeah.
Yeah. Just
easy.
Easy done.
I think there's not too many like distinctive looking women really outside of the ones that you've already done. There's nobody that really like pops off the screen in the way that Becky does. Maybe Sasha.
Yeah, I love Sasha. I would have done Carmella back a couple of years ago, even a few months ago, but I feel her look now is just very generic female wrestler.
Yeah, it is.
She's kind of lost it. You know, she could be Mandy Rose if you squint your eyes. So
exactly.
You know, and I think it's unfortunate when that happens. You know, I think they do really need to have that character, and I think she had it, and I don't know why she's gone away from it. But yeah, so I might end up cosplaying like an old school Carmella.
Yeah. I was going to say you could go even more old school and go for maybe a Lita or a Trish or a Chyna. Somebody like very distinctive look, strong women again.
Yeah, I
Lita's
love
very
Chyna.
different.
Yeah, I absolutely love China. Or even AJ.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Really
that'd
fun
be
yeah.
a great one. I'd love AJ Lee.
Yeah. Yeah, would be a great
So,
one. But I've had a lot of requests for like Lita.
Yes.
Following on from what you were saying about Natalya, what was it like meeting her? Because obviously you had that interaction with her, didn't you? Face to
Oh my
face.
God.
It meant a lot, apparently.
I can imagine it meant a lot. Yeah, I can
She's
imagine
a
you geeking out with it.
dream. Yeah, I've never been the type to like pay to meet wrestlers. There was that convention recently. Was it in Liverpool?
Yeah.
Was it for the love of wrestling? I think it was.
Yeah,
called.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't actually get to go to it. Yeah, and I mean, I've never been to the States to watch wrestling, but I've always thought if I went to an Access, who would I pay to see? And on my list was Nikki. She was the only person I thought I'd actually pay money, to go and see. And at the time, Natalya kind of wasn't on my radar as much as she was. Now, I was given tickets to go to a house show in Liverpool about a year ago, I think, maybe a year and a half ago. Didn't really expect much of it. It's a WWE house show. They're very standard. They're really entertaining, very much for the kids.
Yeah.
But they're entertaining, and I had tickets, so I thought, okay, I'll go. So put my Natalya t-shirt on, took a selfie before, put it on Instagram, and she liked it and she commented on it. And I obviously lost my shit. I was like, oh my God, she knows who I am. What the hell? Yeah, in the car on the way there, I absolutely lost it. My flatmate was like, all right, Hannah, calm down. I was like, I'm not going to calm down. She knows who I am. Yeah, so we got to the venue and still on the high. And we went to go pick up our tickets from the box office. And we went to find our seats, and we kept like seeing a different steward, and they were like, you're further down. And we were like, we're probably on the floor. Fair enough. And every steward was like, no, you need to keep going. And we were on the ramp, like we were like front row on the ramp. And I was like, these are probably the best tickets I've ever had to a WWE show. So that was exciting in itself. And I said to Sam, I was like, I know Natalya's going to be on, and I swear to you, when she comes out, I'm going to lose it. Like, I'm just going to absolutely lose it. I'm going to push the kids out the way. I'm going to lose it. So, yeah, her music hit, and she was in a tag team match with Beth Phoenix, and I think they were against Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott. I can't remember. It was all a blur. The entire thing was in a blur after I met Natalya. She came out first before Beth, and she came down my side of the ramp, and she came up to me and she was like, oh my God, it's you. And I was like, me? She was like, oh my God, it's you. We have to get a photo after the match. I was like, okay. Again, you can see the video on my Instagram if you scroll back far enough. It's on there. And I was just like, she knows who I am from just putting a selfie on Instagram. And I think, to me, that sums up Natalya. She knows she's there because of how hard she's worked, but also because of the fans.
Yeah.
And she genuinely loves every single person that interacts with her. And I think that, for me, really puts her above anybody, because she's so kind and so caring. And I thought to myself, I was like, oh, she's never going to remember. Who's going to remember after having a tag team match that there's some girl on the ramp that you're going to get a photo with? Like, who's going to remember that? But no, straight after the match, came straight down to me, took a selfie, made sure we got a good one as well, which was great. So yeah, took a couple of photos, and she was like, thank you so much, I love you. And I was like, I love you too, Natalya.
That's the boss thing, isn't it, about the live events and
God,
having that experience? They get so much closer to the fans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
you're
like
never
I
going to
said,
get that on TV.
No.
Yeah, and it's something that I probably would never have experienced unless I'd gone to an Access in America.
Yeah.
Where I got to meet her. But meeting her in that way, where she knew who I was, and she really just took that time to think, I know that girl's here. I've seen her. I'm going to go say hi. And yeah, she's incredible. Best day of my life, I think, for sure.
That's a shout right there.
Yeah, hasn't been topped yet, but look where we are.
Like you say, Faz, it's like it gives people an opportunity that you don't very often get anymore. Like I went to SummerSlam 2018, incredible. Never thought I was ever going to get to go to a proper, especially a pay-per-view, but never just a WWE event in general. And we were like, oh, should we look at maybe meeting some wrestlers? Because I knew people like Kevin Owens were there, and I wanted to meet him. The prices are astonishing to me. Even like, no disrespect to an Apollo Crews, but like somebody who probably there's less people who want to meet him. Even he was like $135 or something like that, and that's just so expensive for the common fan, for the general fan. So I think, like you say, once we really missed these house shows, we've really missed indie events and live events, because it's just an opportunity to really feel something that you don't get from watching it on the telly.
No.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Like I said, when I was looking at like prices of tickets to meet wrestlers, that it was the prices that put me off. I was like, how can you charge 150 like quid just to meet a person for 2 minutes? Like, it was almost insulting, I think, to the fans in a way. And I couldn't tell you how much the tickets were that I had at the Liverpool show, because I had them from a mistake with some tickets for an NXT show at a different time. So they were just like comp tickets. But I'd highly recommend, if you do want to meet, wrestlers and have that interaction with them, to get those good seats, because not only Natalya, we were really close to so many wrestlers, and they all took their time to come down and say hello and hi, and so if that's something that you're interested in, I definitely recommend going to a house show for that reason.
Awesome. We definitely will. So before we proceed, just want to give another shout out to our sponsor. It's wrestlingpins.bigcartel.com. That's wrestlingpins.bigcartel.com. That's WRASSLIN pins.bigcartel.com. Head on over, put the promo code IOHPod15 for 15% off your order. That's IOHPod15 for 15% off your order. They've got pins like The Undertaker, Stone Cold, Bret Hart, Ultimate Warrior, and more. And head over to PWT/Ishtar House Pod, where you'll find our merchandise, our t-shirts. Every purchase you make goes towards the pod, and it just helps us out. So cheers, everyone. Right, we'll move on. I think obviously we want to move back to your cosplaying just quickly. So obviously no one can do it at the moment unless you're doing it from your bedroom.
Yeah.
But do you have any advice for any young people who are looking to maybe get into the cosplay scene? What it takes, as you said, you mentioned money is a big issue, but is the time also it takes. Have you got any advice for those people?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I'd been in the industry for probably about 3 years. And as I said to you guys before, like, I'd really pushed myself to do a different costume for every single event. And I'd made myself so tired and exhausted. And it kind of pushed me out of love with the process of it. And my friend actually put on Instagram today, it was a couple of years since we went to a different con, and he stayed up all night the night before finishing off a costume. And he fell asleep at the wheel on the way home, and he was okay.
Wow.
Thank God, he was fine.
Jesus.
Yeah, and he, in the last couple of years, we're old cosplayers now, me and Matt, but we really have thought that it's more about the fun than it is the pressure you put on yourself. And I understand it. Like, you can completely get swept up in doing a new costume before anybody else, or, making sure you're always doing new costumes so you can have new content for Instagram or whatever it is. But you need to put yourself and your health first, 100%. So that would be my boring motherly advice. If you want to get into cosplay, just go to a con and just see how you like it. You don't even need to dress up necessarily, or just, find the cheapest, easiest costume you can, and just go and just see how you feel and see if you enjoy it. And if you get that buzz straight away, which you probably will, then go ahead. And in terms of costumes, I would say choose somebody you absolutely love, because then you'll put that passion and that time into making the costume, and it will really show when you wear it as well. A lot of my cosplay following came from, very luckily, being on Instagram at the right time, before they've messed up the algorithm. And, you could hashtag stuff and people would actually see it.
Yeah.
And the cosplay community, much like the wrestling community, is very small in a way. People know people, but it's so friendly. If you need somebody to shout you out or promote you, they will, just vice versa. It's such a lovely, inclusive community. That just get to know people as well. Like, just follow people on Instagram of costumes you like, or if you need advice on how to make something, just ask someone.
Yeah.
I didn't start knowing how to make everything. I still don't at all. But because I had friends in the industry, I could message somebody and say, look, I'm really stuck with this part. How do I do it? And not only, are you making your costumes better, but you're also making friends in the process.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's definitely just about, I think, making friends, having a good time, and just don't put too much pressure on yourself that you fall asleep at the wheel, please.
Yes, please don't. Please. I mean, I say the same things about Chris about this pod sometimes.
Yeah.
Where he's a bit too focused on getting it as big as he can so quickly. I'm like, just enjoy the process. Enjoy the fact that we get to speak to people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I fully appreciate it. Do not fall asleep at the wheel.
No, please don't.
Don't do it.
Right, we're going to do something a little bit different now. We told you about this beforehand, but you don't know about any of the questions that we're going to do. We wanted to just mix things up a little bit. It's nothing embarrassing, nothing too difficult, nothing too taxing.
Cool.
We just wanted to start doing something a little bit different, a little bit more fun. So we're going to do a quick fire round. A little bit inspired from Stone Cold's Broken Skull sessions, how he does like a minute or so with guests. First thing that comes to your mind, just go for it. Doesn't matter how stupid it is. We will probably laugh at you, but that's fine.
Yep.
Awesome.
And there may be parts where we stop, depending on your answer, and go, can you say that again?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Okay. God. Okay.
So we're gonna take it in turns. I'll start off and go. Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Favorite whiskey?
Oh, Wild Turkey.
Okay. Favorite takeaway?
Chinese.
How'd you have your steak?
Solid choice.
Rare.
Coffee shop or pub?
Pub.
Hidden talent?
Good.
Oh, Christ. I don't know if I can say that on here.
You can. We're not monetized. You can say
whatever you want.
Oh, God, I don't know. Hidden talent. I make a really good brisket. Yeah.
I like it.
Fair enough. Favorite video game of all time?
Oh, Tomb Raider.
Penthouse in New York or Treehouse in the Woods?
New York.
Celebrity crush.
Oh, celebrity crush. Oh, Christ. Brendan Urie.
If you had 1 million to spend on one item, what would you buy?
A house.
Cool. And favorite wrestling match of all time?
Oh, Christ. Nikki versus Ronda Evolution.
Love it. That's awesome. See, it works. I told you, Dee. That was a great round. We're keeping that forever.
They were great questions. I loved it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nothing too hard. Nothing embarrassing. Brisket though. You said a brisket.
Yeah.
It's not something you really come across over here.
No.
Is it?
No, it's not. No. I don't know if you watch. There's a girl called Tess Comans on YouTube, and she goes around all the theme parks in Florida, eating everything. I love the girl. She's incredible. Again, lovely person on the internet. Really, really nice girl. And she put up. She's done a new video series on YouTube about Jewish food. And the first one she did was brisket. And I watched it and I was like, that looks easy. And I can't cook. So I went out and bought all the ingredients for it, cooked it, made a huge mess in the kitchen. So much so my flatmates won't let me cook it again. But it was incredible. Yeah. So
let's share the recipe.
Yeah.
Have to ask about whiskey, because I know you love whiskey. You post about whiskey fairly often, don't you?
I do. Yeah, I do. I love the stuff. And it was Wild Turkey that made me fall in love with whiskey. I didn't like it, but in the job I'm in, I did some training with them, and they, funnily enough, made me fall in love with it. So I always say Wild Turkey. I mean, another one is Roe & Co, which is Dublin. It's a fairly smaller brand, but it's always Wild Turkey.
Nice choices. Love it.
Fair enough. Monkey shoulder for me. Love whiskey.
Monkey shoulder. I don't touch the stuff. I don't touch alcohol. I'm a good boy.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Fair enough.
Right. So we've been in lockdown, pandemic across the world, all that stuff. So we asked this question at the end, and it's really hard for people to pick because they just usually say, get out and do something. But what's next for Hannah Indigo in 2021? And let's just push it to 2022 and 2023. What's next?
I was going to say, I mean, I don't think I'm going to get much. I'm going to get much out of this year. I have said I want to start going to conventions again. 100%. I want to do one in the next year. Fingers crossed if that happens.
Yes, fingers crossed.
And I want to get back into wrestling again, because I did take a little bit of a break, bit of a hiatus for the last 6 months. And I started watching the Rumble again, and I just forgot how much I love it. So much. So yeah, I'd love to start going to shows again, and just start seeing all my friends again, because I miss everyone so much. And you know, much like wrestling, cosplay has such a great community, and I just miss everyone. I love talking to people over social media, but I just miss seeing people face to face.
Yeah, I was gonna say, a Zoom call doesn't really do it justice, does it? Because like eventually, you know, me and Dee's want to be able to get like a little studio where we can have guests in at least once a week. That's you know the eventual goal. But yeah,
go to wrestling events as well, and you know, actually meet. We've known each other for probably about 7 or 8 months, but just over the internet. I hadn't even seen your face until 4 months ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Chris used to write for.
Oh, okay.
He was an editor for like a news site, and I came on as one of the writers, and then quickly he pushed me onto the same level as him, and then we just went from there, didn't we?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, this is about you. But yes, thank you, Hannah, so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's all right. It's been a right laugh. We'll definitely, hopefully, you know, if you want to, once things are sorted and you go into Comic-Cons and stuff, we could check in with you again and see how you're getting on. That would be great.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome.
100%. I hope I'll see you at a show soon.
Yes, definitely. But is there anything you want to plug before you go? Social media wise? No. Just be positive and be nice to people. Yes. That's all.
Yes. There we go.
Screw all the haters. Fuck them all.
Perfect.
Fuck them all. That's simple. Scumbags. Yes. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you very much for being on. And
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. What a guest.
Brill.
Yeah.
Lovely.
I told you, these will work. God damn it.
Yes, I know. There's always the fear of the unknown, isn't it? Like, you know, it works for some people, it might not work for us, but just time to freshen things up a little bit.
Yeah, and you know what I liked about it as well? It was just fun.
Yeah.
Start to finish.
There was nothing wrong with what we were doing before. Obviously, the proof is in the pudding. Things have been going really well, but it's just nice to, you know, you don't want to do the same thing forever.
No. Especially because, you know, I think I read last week, 200,000 podcasts got signed up last Friday alone.
Wow.
Yeah, so think how many people are doing it. How red are my cheeks, by the way?
Jesus Christ, that's what is that? Just across podcast?
No, that's with the title or the category of wrestling.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the biggest.
It just got real, didn't it?
Yep, it did. So that's why we want to change. We want to evolve. We want to, you know, keep being something different. And I had a proper ball with Hannah. I think she's brilliant guest.
Yeah, really, really, really nice. Like that was a bit of a step out of our comfort zone, really. Not talking to somebody within the wrestling biz, or, you know, just 10 questions all on wrestling. It's nice like I said, to do something a bit different and get a different perspective.
Yes. And fans, if you loved the icebreaker and you loved the quick fire round, because I love that quick fire round, I thought it was really, really good. Comment, let us know. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't. We're always looking for your feedback, because we love every single one of you that, you know, contribute to the pod. It really does mean a lot. So thank you.
Absolutely. As that wasn't one of our longer episodes, I would just very quickly like to highlight something that might not break the internet, but certainly break my facade, my character, my heel nature on Twitter. I, Chris Dees, really enjoyed AEW Dynamite last night. I'm sorry.
So by last night, he means the 10th of February, 2021.
Yes, sorry, yeah, last night. 10th of Feb, the show that was main evented by Kenta and Kenny Omega.
How good's Kenta? I mean, Kenta, bloody hell.
Kenta's awesome.
What a talent.
And obviously he showed up on Dynamite last week, and the marks and that were all like, oh yeah, but who's this Kenta guy? Oh, he was a 205 live jobber. Yes, he was. because they didn't know how to use him. They're
Yeah.
historically not very good at using Asian superstars. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. Look at the way Asuka's been used recently. She's been used like dog shit, but she's still one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
Kenta's fantastic. And also last night, I cannot praise NXT enough for just how they've turned things around recently. You know, it was
MSK.
Love MSK.
MSK.
Brilliant. Did not expect them to be getting into the final.
No,
Thrilled for the lads.
I don't think they're going to win it. I think it's going to be Timothy Thatcher, and what's his name?
No, it's Grizzled Young Veterans.
Oh, did they get through? You know what?
Yeah.
I'll tell a lie. I've got like 20 minutes left. So
Yes.
well, it's got to be
yeah.
MSK then. Has to be MSK. Don't do this.
I don't know because
Don't do this to me. He's
Veterans
from Liverpool,
got
though,
to
isn't he? You know what I mean?
Veterans got to the final last year and didn't win.
Oh
so
yeah.
I'm thinking maybe it's their time.
Yeah.
Plus, that would mean we get Grizzled Young Vets against Birch and Orkin. That's going to be...
But that's why I don't think it'll be it. I know NXT usually don't go for that, but that's heel against heel.
Heel against heel and too much UK talent in one ring.
Yeah, I don't think NXT will do that. I think it's going to be MSK. And I think MSK might take the
Be a great
titles, if I'm honest.
Yeah, because since Pat McAfee sort of stepped back a bit, I'm not as interested in that
Plus,
faction anymore.
plus, who else is there? I know you've got like a plethora of tag teams, but who is there that needs to go right to the main event team without regurgitating the same talents? And that's MSK or the Escobars group.
Yeah, Legado del Fantasma. Yeah, love them.
They're the only two.
They're ready for the tag title scene. Definitely.
Definitely.
I mean, recently we had Lucha House Party. I still don't think they fully know how to book the tag division, but it's
Lucha were great though. They look really good.
Still one of the best in the best divisions in the world. Yeah, that was a great show. Like 3 really solid tag matches last night. Johnny Gargano with probably his greatest ever promo. Definitely his best work since
he
turning
was
heel.
so good. And even the fella Buzzy you like, Grimes, talking about GameStop and
Love him. He's so good. I like really bitterly hated him.
Me missus
not even
can't
a year
stand
ago.
him.
And not even just because he was an annoying chicken shit heel. Like you're meant to hate them. I didn't like him because I didn't want to see him on my telly.
No,
I wasn't interested in him. He just looked like a short, sort of not in shape, hairy lad. He looked like he just walked in. He could have been one of the fans.
Yeah, Triple H loves him though, doesn't he? Apparently, he's got so much charisma in buckets, man. I love him. The concern is if he goes up though, is he going to turn into another, R-Truth type character? You just don't want that, yeah, because he's got talent. He's very good in the ring.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is there. They've got an incredibly good mid to upper card at the minute with the likes of Bronson Reed and Dexter Lumis. I think Lumis is probably going to be the one to take the North American title. I don't think it'll be Kushida.
No, I think he'll beat who's he after at the moment? His mate.
Lumis.
Yeah, Johnny's mate. I can't remember.
Oh, Theory. Austin
Theory.
Theory.
So I think he'll face him, and then after that, he'll go after Gargano. Makes sense.
Yeah. When do you think we'll get an Edge announcement about who he's going for?
I think you'll find out the night of Elimination Chamber.
Oh, on the night.
Yeah, I think whoever gets the victory, he comes out and spears, and that's it.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's how it ends the show. And I've got a feeling it's going to be Reigns. Just because the Elimination Chamber match, I think that's going to be a lot of focus on Orton. I think because we haven't seen Bliss and The Fiend, I don't even think Orton's going to get in the ring. I think he's going to be in the pod. The lights go out, the lights come on. Bliss is in the pod. The lights go out, the lights come on. The pod's empty.
Okay, yeah. No, that's interesting. I'd be all right with that, actually. Yeah.
It works.
Because I think the concern is if they don't do something nonsense like that to move back to Orton versus The Fiend, I think the concern is that Orton wins the match.
Yes. Yeah.
Takes the title off Drew. We get fucking Edge coming out to challenge Orton again. Like, it's over now. He's won 2-1. That should be it now. Just let it die. Let it die.
The issue is, I think the only issue we've got now, and I said this to Casey, the fact that it's a week from Sunday, isn't it? It's a week from this Sunday.
So soon. Yeah.
It's so soon. And then you've got, what's the one after that? Is it No Mercy or whatever they were talking about bringing back? It used to be Fastlane, wasn't it?
Fastlane.
Yeah. But then you've got, like, that's usually like 6 weeks between Elimination Chamber and that. I don't understand why they didn't put another 2 weeks, put the Chamber on, then put Fastlane, and then you've got Mania. But
it's not like they're in stadiums and they've got dates
exactly.
to adhere to. They're just doing it in-house.
Exactly.
They could have done anything with them dates.
Exactly. And then my concern again after that is, are we going to see Drew versus Sheamus at Fastlane? And if you do, how can you play that at Mania? Who's you going to face at Mania? Because there's got to be a cash in. There's going to be a cash in. There's got to be.
Brock. Keith Lee still knocking around, maybe.
Yeah, US title, isn't he? He's getting that US title.
Oh, of course, yeah. Yeah, and the only reason Riddle's in there is to take the pin.
Yeah, exactly.
Take the pin, hopefully, from Lee.
A Matt Riddle, Keith Lee feud will be great. I'll take that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There was something else I was going to mention as well. Cannot remember what it was now.
I'm not surprised.
Oh no, it was about the Elimination Chamber match itself. Like, yes. I get that the hook, and I think we've spoken about this briefly. I get that the hook is they're all former world champions, former WWE champions. Like that's great. Don't get me wrong. I know that they didn't have much time to throw this together. Probably not enough time to put 5 qualifying matches in. As much as I'm a big fan of qualifying matches, and I think we should have them for the Rumble and the Chamber and Money in the Bank.
Which is why you should have pushed it back another 2 weeks, because you could have done that.
5 or 6 quality matches spread out over a few weeks, giving the fans exactly what they want, which is good wrestling again, which they've been lacking on Raw. Why the fuck's Jeff Hardy in that match? Now, if you've watched our previous episode, the last week's episode, the Edge top 5 moments, I repeatedly spoke about Jeff Hardy, my favorite wrestler of all time. Don't like the way that his career has necessarily gone in the last few years, but that's because his body's a bit broken down now. But still, I hold Jeff on a much higher thingy than basically any other wrestler. Yeah, he's untouchable for me. Why the hell is he in this match? He's just come fresh off the back of 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks in a row, of being embarrassed and put in the Hurt Locker by Bobby Lashley. Yep. So already you're thinking, okay, why isn't Lashley in there? Obviously, I know that there's the US title scene, so that's why. But Jeff...
Yeah, but you could have had a 4-way, couldn't you? Even better. You have a 4-way for the US title.
Yeah, why not? But Jeff also lost on Main Event recently. Now, and I've spoken about Main Event in the past many, many times. People say, oh, it's a demotion. Oh, they don't know what to do with them. Oh, they're getting buried because they're on Main Event. No, it's to bring eyes to Main Event that nobody wouldn't be watching the show. Like, shut up, grow up, learn what you're talking about.
Is it not maybe just for the spot then? Top of the cell, dive. That's what they're thinking about. Because if you look at the other guys in there's not many who are going to do it, are they?
But if you're going to give it to somebody who doesn't deserve to be in there, give it to John Morrison and let him do the same thing.
Yeah, he's not a 2-time champion.
Give it to Mustafa Ali.
He's not a 2-time champion, is he?
Who wants to be in there because of what happened last year.
Yeah.
The story writes itself for Mustafa Ali. He missed out on the Chamber because of what happened with when Orton gave him the concussion and the black eye. That's another potential thing around that. Maybe like if something does happen with Fiend, Alexa Orton, maybe Ali replaces him.
Well, it's as you said though, mate. Come on. WWE writing, especially for Raw, is so goddamn bad that
there's just no logic.
They had a story which could have sold itself, which is Ali facing Randy Orton, because it was actually Orton that took him out, not Kofi. Kofi took a spot because it was bloody given to him, and yet you're blaming Kofi for that. It's bull. It's bull as per usual.
Absolutely. Raw's been better the last 2 weeks as well, like really good, genuinely enjoyable. Or maybe it hasn't. Maybe it's just been ever so slightly better, but we've got such low expectations that
my hole, my
butt, my hole.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
So yeah, just a nonsense match. Take out Jeff, put Damian Priest in there.
Yeah, as a 2-time champion.
Take out bloody The Miz. Why is The Miz in there?
Just don't say the 2-time champions. Just say these people are top contenders.
These are our top guys. These are the guys who deserve it the most. Like The Miz. He is the Money in the Bank holder. It doesn't make sense for him to be in there with a title opportunity when in his hand he has a guaranteed title opportunity.
Exactly.
And the
My
other thing about
concern,
Jeff-
my major concern is that Sheamus is going to screw Drew out the title, and Miz is going to cash in. It'll be Miz headlining WrestleMania. Because if you remember rightly, they did have plans to have him take the title to Hollywood, which is meant to be this year.
I can see the first part of that happening with Sheamus screwing Drew, Miz cashes in, but I don't think Miz would remain champion until WrestleMania. Especially as, like you say, now that it's not in Hollywood, I don't see him keeping it. It'd just be a filler feud for Fastlane.
Yeah.
You know, and then it would probably come.
That might be the way you get rid of it. You get rid of the briefcase. We can scrap that whole thing this year and get back to bloody normal. But it's, as you said, it doesn't help the definition of the title, does it? Because again, you're losing it in such a short time, and that's what hurt Drew in the first place. He didn't need to lose it to Orton. I know you want to give Orton 25,000 titles just so he's the best of all time, but it just doesn't make any sense. But what I would love to see is Drew versus, and it's not going to happen, but Drew versus Cena. I think a Drew versus Cena match would be fucking fire. And WWE, you've got that. You've got that in the bank.
I'd be fine with Drew dropping the belt to him as well.
Yeah, give him
Cena
the 17. Yeah, he deserves it. I hated the fella, but me, what he's done for the business.
As soon as he went away, he's one of them who's like, you don't know what you've got until it's gone, do you? Exactly. Like as soon as Cena left, everyone was like, oh fuck, I really miss John Cena.
Exactly.
You know, I never thought I'd say it. I never hated Cena, but I also wasn't bothered by him really. But I missed him when he was gone, and when he comes back, I pop for him. I love the guy.
I think he suffered a lot with the title swapping between him and Orton at the time, because it went to and from them continuously for about 2-3 years. Some brilliant matches, don't get me wrong, but it was one of them again where
the never-ending rivalry. Yeah,
the title just didn't make any sense anymore. But you know, it is what it is, and we had a fantastic guest today. So thank you very much, Hannah, for coming on. We really do appreciate it. We've got a few guests lined up over the next few weeks. We're not going to kind of say right now because we want to kind of build some mystique. We're trying to be mysterious.
We have the best way to be mysterious is we potentially have some huge names coming on. They may not happen. They may happen.
Yeah.
If they do,
you'll find out about it on our Twitter page.
Yes, absolutely.
If you do,
or by subscribing.
Yes, or subscribing us on YouTube.
Somewhere.
Well, you put the watermark on, and apparently you can click the watermark, and it comes up with a subscribe button. So thank you very much. And also,
I didn't know it did that.
guess what? We've sold a pin. Someone's bought a pin from us.
Oh,
using our promo.
Hey, brilliant!
Whoever that was, thank you so much.
Nice.
Thank you so much. It's really going to help out the channel if everyone else could do it. You know, buy about 1,000 of them. I can afford the PC I've just bought.
Yes, and I can afford to not do this in my daughter's bedroom.
Exactly.
Right.
But before we go, I just want to give another big shout out to our fantastic sponsors. WrestlingPins.bigcartel.com. That's WrestlingPins.bigcartel.com. WRASSLIN Pins.bigcartel.com. They've got pins like the Hulk Hogan that you've just seen, Ultimate Warrior, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Razor Ramon, and honestly, they just keep adding more and more and more fire. We've requested a female talent because they haven't got one yet. So yes,
I'd love a little one.
So fingers crossed the guys are listening. But if you want to save 15% off your order, and trust me, they've got some brilliant packages that you can buy, head on over and put IOHPod15, and that's 15% off your order. Not 1, not 5, not 10, 15.
15. That's basically free postage.
Exactly, and it's basically a free pin, to put it that way. Do you know what I mean?
Because they're not expensive.
No, they're not expensive.
Bloody good quality as well.
Top. So head on over, IOHPod15, 15% off your order. And then if you go over to Pro Wrestling Tees/It's Our House Pod, you will find our store. We've got the beautiful luchador logo. If you head on over, you can buy that t-shirt.
I can't remember his name.
Bob.
El
Bobo.
Death Hurricane or something like that, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Head on over, buy a t-shirt. Some of the profits go to us, and again, it really does help us out. We've also got a text one there which says It's Our House Pod. We've got white and black and purple and black. Purple is my favorite color. So head on over. Everything you buy really does help us out. If you could subscribe to us on It's Our House Pod on every single thing that exists. We've got YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, a lot. And you can follow me at Baz's Thoughts. That's FAZZAS Thoughts. And what about you?
Down here somewhere, isn't it? At PWCDs.
At PWCDs.
I've started being a little bit nicer.
Yes.
In the last few days.
Yes.
A little bit nicer.
We're trying
to see how long it lasts.
Yeah, we're trying to push a little bit of positivity. Not a lot. Because come on, drama works. Drama works.
Absolutely.
Let's not lie. Let's not lie. Yes, we've got a lot of major things coming up, and honestly, you do not want to miss out. I promise every single one of you. So head on over, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, hit that like button, comment, leave a love heart, whatever the hell it is. TikTok, what you do on TikTok? Do you follow? I think you do.
On TikTok, you scroll aimlessly for 7 hours and then realize, oh shit, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and I've just sent my missus 11 videos. That's what I did last night.
Yeah, we put some of the clips from the show up on there. We put some of the clips on the show on Twitter. But again, and we can't stress this enough, hit that subscribe button or download us on a podcast platform. And watch the video and give it a like. Honestly, it helps us out more than you will ever know. So thank you to everyone. Tell a friend, share it with all the wrestling world and all the entertainment world, because we're here for a long time. I've just bought a new PC. Wait, yeah, until I pay that off. That's at least 2 years. So, Mr. D's, you have a wonderful, wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. I love you very much. And I shall see you soon. Take it easy, guys.